Do you want to play a magical girl in D&D? Of course you do, who wouldn't? I certainly want to play a magical girl. Heck, I am a magical girl. But only on weekends. I guess you could be a magical boy if you want to. You be magical and pretty in your own way. But how would you do this in D&D? The most obvious answer would be to just take something that already exists, like maybe the Blade Singer Wizard, and just reflavor everything to suit your magical girl vision. But what if we had something concrete? And we do. And it comes from this, the Fool's Gold Into the Building of Wilds campaign book. It's made by Dingo Doodles, who has a channel here on YouTube that runs an animated retelling of their 3.5 D&D campaign called Fool's Gold. They have made this 5th edition product along with Hit Point Press. I did a video on the book as a whole a few weeks ago. But there was one part of this book in particular that I thought needed its own dedicated video, and that was the magical protagonist subclass. Before we dive into the details, let's discuss what is a magical protagonist? What fulfills that fantasy? I think different people will give different answers as to how that will look. I think of Sailor Moon and similar characters. Magical transformation from everyday person into awesome hero that protects love and justice. Glitter and all, but you might have a different interpretation. And the Fool's Gold team, I think, really knocked it out of the park. This is the magical protagonist subclass for the fighter. This is Irina Zuccarini, the character that inspired this subclass and is a character in the Fool's Gold campaign. All of this is based off the homebrew class for 3.5 that Irina's player used, and has been converted into 5th edition format. As a fighter subclass, we choose it at 3rd level. Our first ability, Secret Power, determines where our magical abilities come from. We have 3 choices, of which we may only pick one. Magical Companion gives us the Find Familiar spell that we can cast once per day with no components or spell slots. We gain our own little magical companion to boss us around because, yeah, this thing can actually talk, and it doesn't actually have to follow our commands if it doesn't want to. That's going to add some interesting elements for the DM to play with. You tell your familiar to swoop in and give you advantage on an attack, and it just tells you to f*** off. Magical Destiny means you're so freaking special that you gain proficiency with performance in either persuasion or the intimidation skill. And any charisma skill checks also allow you to add your constitution modifier in addition to the charisma modifier. This could be a theme in the subclass. It encourages you to be a charisma-based fighter, but doesn't require you to have a high charisma by allowing you to lean on other ability scores. The new Barbarian does something similar. And finally, we could have a magical trinket, so like a wand or a ring or something. When we transform, more on that in a second, we can choose any number of creatures to succeed on their saving throw against the transformation effects. What the hell does any of that mean? Well, let's look at the next ability to find out. Magical transformation is what it sounds like. Sparkly, twirly, glittery, I have the power! For love and justice, from street clothes to magical princess or bare-chested beefcake. Transformation. It's once per short or long rest, and it lasts for an hour or until you fall unconscious or use the bonus action to transform back. But there are 2 ways to transform. The first just uses your bonus action, and it's quick and without fanfare. Nothing special, but still important because a lot of our abilities depend on us being transformed. Or we can transform dramatically like the diva we know we are with an action. Everyone within 20 feet must make a charisma saving throw against DC 8 plus charisma modifier plus proficiency bonus, or be blinded until the end of our next turn by our fabulous radiance.
Yes, we have a magical girl, and yes, she sparkles and everything, and yes, we are blinded every time she transforms. My eyes!
That's right, everyone's blinded by our gorgeous personality. Are you blinded yet? But no magical protagonist can be truly magical without hero powers, which can only be fueled with style. In another video, I liken this subclass to the Battle Master, and this is where that comes from. We start with 3 hero powers and gain additional ones at levels 7, 10, and 15. Using these hero powers comes at a cost, and that cost is style points. So all those hours practicing being such a sassy bitch are finally going to come in handy. We start with 3 of these as well, and get additional points at levels 7, 10, and 15. We give them back on a long or short rest, and we regain 1 style point when we roll a critical hit or roll a natural 20 on a charisma check. Interesting mechanic there, tying it to criticals and natural 20 rolls. Could be some good ways to maximize that with multi-classing options and feats. But what can you do with all this? Let's look at some examples. A bunch of these hero powers just let you cast a spell, such as the Anonymous Hero, letting you, for the cost of 1 style point, cast Disguise Self. Or the Hyper Heroic Hero, which also, for 1 style point, casts Heroism. The Lovely Hero, letting you spend 2 style points to cast Charm Person. But there are different categories as well. The Sturdy Hero spends 1 style point to gain a number of temporary hit points equal to our fighter level when we transform. A really strong option is the Awesome Hero Attack, which lets us spend 2 style points when we make a weapon attack to have advantage on that attack, and if it hits an enemy within 5 feet of us, it's automatically a critical hit. Ouch. Oh, and you have to yell out the cool special name of the attack, like this. There are 14 total hero powers, and I'm not going to go over every single one of them. Get the book if you want a deeper dive into these abilities. So let's move on. At 7th level, we gain Ultra Personality, because now we have reached the pinnacle of our persona. While transformed, we can add either our Strength modifier or Dex modifier to Charisma skill checks. And remember, that's in addition to your Constitution modifier if you took the Magical Destiny secret power. You can only do this once per long rest, but if you have at least 1 ally in sight, when you use it, you get advantage on that skill check. Because, as we all know, the real journey was always about the friends we made along the way. Those who murder hobo together stayed together. Speaking of friends, 10th level gives us the power of friendship. Your friends give you inspiration. Or complex, I get those mixed up sometimes. As a free action, you can ask all the allies within 30 feet to pump you up. Each creature can then use their reaction to give you 1 style point apiece. Your party essentially turns into your own personal cheerleading squad. I mean, sometimes that's all they're really good for anyway, right?
Damn.
Stop trying to negotiate with the goblins, Brenda. It's already stabbed you twice. Take a hint. They don't want to be your friend. You can only use this feature once per long rest. It does increase your maximum style points from 5 at this level to equal to your fighter level from this ability. Also, at 10th level, we get Beam Attack.
Power, we blast a super mega awesome death fire! Push the damn button! Fettuccine! Hey!
While transformed, we take all our hope for love and justice and focus it into a beam that is 5 feet wide and 60 feet long. Every creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw or take damage equal to your weapon attack plus 2d6 force damage. And objects and structures take double that damage. Also, if we take the attack action, one of our attacks can be replaced with this beam attack. At an 18th level, that 2d6 becomes 2d12. I won't lie, I don't love this ability. Not that it isn't powerful, because it really is. There isn't any limit to how often you can use this ability. But I think it's poorly worded and designed. I don't know much of a reason why you would use your action for a beam attack and not just always use an attack action to make 2 attacks. Will be 3 attacks next level, and just replace one with the beam. I suppose if you're attacking something at range and you would rather get your greatsword damage die instead of like a longbow damage, and even then the extra attacks just make up the difference. So this subclass isn't without a few design flaws. This feature could have been simplified to make it easier to implement. I think it's just a little over-designed. Moving on, 15th level gives us Wings of Hope. That essentially means, while transformed, we gain a flying speed equal to our walking speed. Not terrible, but it's a little late to be super awesome. This could have probably been a hero power. This is probably the one feature that really shows the old 5th edition design versus the new 2024 design. At 18th level, we get Believe in Yourself. And let me tell you, if you don't believe in yourself by 18th level, seek professional help. When we roll initiative, we gain 2 style points if we have none. And if we aren't already transformed, we can immediately transform as if we used a bonus action. So an instant transformation. Remember, you can only transform once per short rest. So this gives you an extra use. Most of our abilities do depend on us being transformed. So that's this subclass in a nutshell. It's certainly kooky, and it might not fit very well with the aesthetics of certain settings. So as with any third-party material, have a conversation with your DM, and probably the group as a whole, to make sure it's okay with them to play such a fabulous character. We don't want them to die of envy in how spectacular we have become. I really like that this subclass is so charisma forward without really requiring a really good charisma. You actually see some of this design in the 2024 Barbarian, letting us add certain preferential stats to the charisma checks. Fighters can often struggle to find a place in a group outside of combat, whether it be social encounters or in exploration. The magical protagonist could be the face of the party without having to sacrifice too much of their combat ability. You can also just play a paladin if you want a similar result, but who wants to be a stuffy old paladin when instead you can be glorious? There are also some interesting multi-class options here with bards, paladins, or even warlocks, but I don't think it's needed. This subclass, plus what you get from a fighter, it's pretty self-contained for playing a social combatant. I'll put a link in the description below for an example character, and you tell me if you can spot my inspiration. And tell me in the comments below what you think of this subclass. Would you play it? Would you allow it at your table? Have you read the Fool's Gold book, and would you use any of the other material in it? While you're down there, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, smash that like button. And we'll see you next time on Role Play Culture.